Hey y'all, I'm trying to get set up and I'm gonna wait a few minutes to see if anyone pops on, and if not, I'll go on and get started. Today we are gonna do flag cups, and basically it is for me to try out this YouTube live. I keep trying to transfer my videos over to YouTube, and for some reason I'm losing sound. So I'm gonna see how it works just doing them here. Good morning, Kathy. So I don't know if y'all have watched my videos before, but I've been doing them on Tumblr Basics, and then I tried to move them over, and I'm getting complaints about the sound quality or about them losing sound halfway through and things like that. Morning, Ashley. So this is going to be a short one, just basically for me to try out the YouTube Live and see if that's where I want to start doing them now. So if y'all have ever done a flag cut before, I usually do mine on 40 because people like them kind of big and bold. But the first thing that you do is spray paint your cup, or paint, oh my dogs are singing, sorry y'all. And then put a coat of epoxy on. So I have done that, and I've got 3 cups to show you so you can kind of see the steps. So this is step 1, spray paint your cup and put a coat of epoxy. I do my flag cups from start to finish on these turners. If y'all have watched my videos before, you know I use these little pencil caddies from Dollar Tree. They are called spinning desk organizers, and I like them because when I'm working on stuff, I can kind of just spin them around and do what I need to do. So after you've spray painted it white and put a coat of epoxy, let me set that where it's not going to fall over. The next thing to do is to add your decal. And there's a lot of decals going around, which is why I wanted to do this just quick little video. Doing a flag the right way is important to me. I am retired Navy. I have a son who's serving now. My daddy served for 30 years, and I've got about 6 nephews serving also. So when I point out to someone on pictures that are being posted, I might say your work looks absolutely beautiful, but the decal that you're using is not correct. And somebody tells me, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters, y'all. If you don't want to pay as much attention to how the stars are and things like that, you can go for something really, really distressed like this for a decal. Hey, Tess. But even on this, if you can see the stars, there is a right way, and the point on the star should always be facing up. Otherwise, it's upside down. So even if you're using a distressed decal, make sure that your points are going up. These get manipulated so much as they get passed from person to person. And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our techniques and focused on that we don't always pay attention to the actual decal itself. So your flag should be pointing up. And then when you put your decal on, if it's a decal of a regular American flag, then this right here, this blue stripe, is going to be down lower. And the reason it's important to move it up is because if this is where your blue paint is going to go, on this decal after it's painted, this is going to be pulled off, and we need to have a white stripe right under the blue horizon. So I tend to cut my decals up so that you can manipulate them the right way. And just to show you what I mean by that, I went ahead and cut out one. It's on transfer tape, but I would put this on first and then add a line right under it so that when I remove that, it would be a white stripe. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, then y'all tell me. But I just wanted to show you when you're doing your decals, I usually cut this part off first, and this is what we're gonna spray paint blue. So you would put that on first, and then add your stripes on. And so your decal is gonna start out, you know, bigger like this. And you can just, I reverse weed, which is why it's all in one piece. It makes it easier for these old eyes. And but anyway, so if you do it like that, so you spray paint your tumbler white, put a coat of epoxy, and I leave it hang just like this. And you can see a couple of the drips have actually hardened on there. That doesn't bother me because I'll clean those off with a Dremel later. And after you do that, then you're going to put on your decal. I did it in a dark blue just so you could see. And then this part right here, you're going to spray paint blue. And then I do the rest of the cup red. And I have done that step to show you. And again, they're all on my pencil caddies. So this is where, I know it's harder for y'all to see now, but trying to hold it, can you see where the messed up little stars are? So all you do is spray paint that blue, the spots, and then I spray the rest of the cup red. So it'll kind of look like this when it's done. Your decals are going to be creased and things like that. On this cup, that doesn't matter. So this one I painted early this morning. It's not as dry as I normally let it dry overnight, but I just wanted you to see that when you go back and pull these decals off, because that seems to be the hot topic lately, is the decals that are going around and if they're right or wrong. But when you pull these decals off, this is sticky. I'm working outside, y'all, because it's so pretty out today. And I've got a fan hooked up so I'm not dying in the heat. I live in Georgia, for those of y'all that don't know. But I just wanted you to have a better visual of what I'm talking about with this white stripe underneath the stars. And if you're going to do a flag, I just feel like it should be accurate because it is important. So when you start pulling your decals off, this is where, whoops, I got a little breeze going. So this is where those stars are. So right underneath the blue horizon, you should have a white stripe. And then when I pull these other decals here, that's where my white stripes are going to be. And that'll continue on. And then the next thing that I would do when I pull the decals is just put another coat of epoxy. I recently did a tutorial on distressing the cup, so I'm not going to do all that today. It is on the Tumbler Basics plus any other crafts. If you just search my name, Robin Wheeler, and then you'll see that one. And it will be after this is epoxied. And then, let's see, I need this stencil. Ashley, I've done two, and if somebody will give me directions on how to share it, I actually made it in Design Space. I can give you the regular flag that I started with, and then what I did is in Design Space, I would put a square over the blue part and then slice it, and then I would remove everything except this part. And then I did that for each individual stripe so that then I was able to move them around. Does that make sense? Hey, Lisa. So, but I do have it saved on Design Space, but I'm not sure how to share from there because it wasn't an image that I used of theirs. So So if somebody wants to tell me how to do that, I'd be happy to use to share the stencil that I made. But again, this is what I put on the cup, and then that's where I spray paint blue, and then I add my stripes individually. And but they start off just like this. I put my transfer tape over the whole image, and then I cut it into strips, and then I reverse weed because it's easier when it's already stuck to not lose all these little teeny tiny things. And I can just pull the background off in one piece. So, but again, it's important whether you're using a very accurate flag or whether you're using a distressed one, you can still tell that the points are facing up on the stars as they should be. Please don't take the attitude that it doesn't care, or if I mention that to you, then I am not criticizing your work at all, I promise. I don't do that. But if you're gonna do a flag, please put your stars facing up. Point should always be at the top. And then underneath the blue horizon on your flag, your very first stripe should be white. So when you put your stencil on, go on and add one of the stripes right underneath that blue, and that way you don't make a mistake later on. And then add your other stripes from there off of that one, and then you know that it's going to be accurate when you go to pull these off. And that was the main purpose of doing this little video, was just to show y'all. I think it's great that so many people have shared their decals and stuff that they use, but somewhere along the line they have gotten manipulated and flipped and things like that. So the cups that a lot of people are doing right now, the stars are upside down and the stripes are not in the right place. If you were going to leave the decal on there and then epoxy over it and distress it, then you could use it like it is, as long as you just flip the stars. But if you're doing the painting technique like this, put this decal on. So when I spray paint this blue, and then I spray paint the rest of the cup red and let it dry, and then I'm going to pull all these decals off, this line under the blue will be white. So that's like the easiest thing, is just to start with this and this first line and then kind of build it from there, and then the rest is good to go. So again, when you paint it, it will look like this, and then you'll start pulling off. I feel like Vanna White, y'all. And then you'll start pulling off your decal, and then the next step would be to put another coat of epoxy. You don't want to start distressing or anything until you have another coat of epoxy on there. And then if you go to the Tumblr Basics page, plus any other crafts, you'll see the one that I already did on how to distress them using spray paint and some inks. I like to play with inks, so most of what I do involves them. Does anybody have any questions for me before I go? I kind of want to see how the sound is on this, and if this works, hey Chris, if this works, I'm probably going to start doing my tutorials on here. I just painted my first cup. It's drying, fingers crossed. I hope it is. Take a look at it and check your stars. Make sure your points are up, and make sure under the blue horizon that your first stripe is white. And if it's not, then keep it as your personal cup if you want to. But I just want to tell you that as a veteran, a lot of people will notice. They might not say anything, and I don't try to be ugly pointing it out. It's just that I don't want you to keep doing it as you make more going forward. I know if it's me, I would want to do it the right way. So I pointed out to people. Some people have gotten real ugly. I've gotten a few special little private messages telling me that I shouldn't criticize people, and I'm really not trying to criticize, but I just feel like the flag, I don't care what side of the fence y'all are on or whatever, but as an American, as a veteran, it is important to me. I go to funerals at least once a week as a Patriot Guard rider, and I see that flag draped over coffins and folded, and hear taps playing at least once or twice a week for the past 9 years. So it really does make a difference. It really is important. So I'm not saying trash the cups that you've done, but moving forward, if you're making one for a donation or if you're making one for anybody else, I would think that we would want to, or, you know, it's a reflection of you. So they might not say anything, but if they notice, that's a reflection of you and what you're doing. So I just thought you would want to know how to do it the right way. And I don't think any of the decals going around were intentionally done the wrong way or anything. A lot of people don't even realize it because, you know, you see the flag so often, and a lot of people kind of miss the details. Like I said, we get caught up in technique, but whether it's distressed or accurate, make sure them little stars are pointing up, and then make sure that your first line of your decal falls under the blue horizon that your flags are flying on. And then build your other ones from there, and then the rest is cake, y'all. You're just gonna shoot spray blue right here, and it doesn't have to be perfect because it's gonna be real distressed anyway. And then I paint the rest of my cup red, and then you can add things later on. I intentionally leave spaces because I'll add something like an eagle or a military emblem, depending on who it's for, or DD-214 alumni, which means anybody who served in the military. Thanks, Valinda. I look forward to seeing y'all's stuff. I really do. So I hope this helps, but people were asking the right way to put the decal on. So again, when I cut my decals, whoops, I take them apart. I cut this part off first and reverse weed it. It's easier. And then this would be the first thing that I would put on the cup. And then right under this blue, thank you, Kathy, right under what would be the blue, make sure I put my first line, because this will be peeled off, and that is where your white will be. So your white does need to be your first line under this blue horizon where the stars are. So I appreciate y'all watching. Please refer anyone. If you see people doing flag cups with those old decals, I would love it if you would, in the nicest way possible, mention to them. If you don't want to comment on it, send them a private message, because what I'm finding is a lot of people really, really don't know that there is a difference. And there really is. Y'all see all my nubs up here. I got to get off with the Dremel. I do my cups, these cups start to finish on my little hanger, because I epoxy this way also. If you want to know how to do that, that's on my YouTube channel also. Applying epoxy without a turner. So I hope that y'all find it helpful. Again, blue here, and then a white stripe, and then everything else from there. Thank y'all so much. So pass it on, and hopefully the cups that we start seeing, people start flipping those decals around. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Let me see how to end this now and post it. This is my first time doing a YouTube live, y'all. You're very welcome, Tess. I'm trying to see where to hit. If I hit the X, is that going to still allow me to post this? Do y'all know? I'm a first timer. So let's see what this button is. It says share, but I think I need to end it first. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna hit the square and hope for the best. I'll see y'all.